Well, hello, everybody. This is RPR Short Films 13, aka Ryan, and I am doing a live stream tonight for you guys. About an hour live stream to 2 hour live stream in that uh, range. So, welcome, guys. I noticed when I put that I am live streaming, at least a day before I live stream, people are aware and then people more likely more of my subscribers will join the live stream. So hello Mario Mania 1234. It's great that you're in the um, part of the live stream. You're in the chat. I'm gonna make you moderator. How about that? How you feel about that, Mario Mania? If I make you moderator. Okay, I'm gonna make you the moderator. Well, happy Wednesday night, guys. It's Wednesday night, um, middle of the week. I was actually born on a Wednesday, so Wednesday is a very iconic day for me in the week. Um, and I'm here to talk about movies. We're here to talk about TV shows, video games, um, all that stuff. Just talk about whatever. Talk about my movies more. Um, any updates I can give you guys right now. So, um, yeah. So how you doing, Mario Mania? 1234. Hello, Twisted Chris. Thank you, Mario Mania. I hope you did too. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving as well. I did. Uh, I ate at some diner place with some family, and I went to see House of Gucci, the movie that just came out. I went to see that on Thanksgiving, and um, then about a couple days ago, one of my mom's friends invited all of us to her place for Thanksgiving, and I got to see a lot of my old actors. Got to see my actors from my films and actors that were in The Devil's Servant and the Twilight short and all that stuff. So um, it was fun to see my actors after a long time after the pandemic. It just was really great to see them. Um, Scream 5, they gave it official, it's rated R. Yep, yep, they gave it an R rating. I just saw that, which good. I mean, I would not want a Scream movie to be PG-13 ever. So that's really good that it's going to be rated R. That's how the first four movies have been rated R, and that's a big part of the Scream movies is the gore, and the violence and the brutality and keeping you at the edge of your seat. And the more vicious the scenes can be, the more you're at the edge of your seat, the more you're terrified of the character, the more you're scared of Ghostface. If they, keep it PG rated, it's not going to live up to the hype, you know. As the horror genre goes on, people expect more, you know, gore and kills and these kinds of slasher films. Um, but I don't think it's going to be as extreme as Halloween Kills. I don't think it's going to be nowhere near as extreme as that movie was with the violence. But I do think it'll be similar because I do think the filmmakers want to make this the most brutal Scream film. Um, but I don't think that's their 100% intent with this movie is to make it, the goriest, because that's not how this new Scream film has been promoted as like it's going to be an extremely gory movie. I think it's being promoted as a a Scream film. So it's supposed to have those elements, but only to a certain extent. You know, there's supposed to be new trailer this week. Are they delayed? New trailer. Um, a new trailer might be coming out this weekend. It's long overdue for a final trailer, and to be honest, I kind of wouldn't be mad if they don't come out with any other trailers for this movie, because after Halloween Kills, those trailers spoiled like everything. So when I went into that movie, there I was still surprised because there were some things that weren't in the trailer, but I saw so much already, and I was like, "Oh, I've seen this in the trailer. I've seen this in the trailer." So I'm okay with these kinds of movies not having a lot of movie trailers, and if so, I hope they do it, Disney style, Lucasfilm, Marvel style, where you think that the trailer gave like a bunch of stuff away, but it really didn't, and you know, uh, that way, when you go into the movie, you don't know what to expect. You're surprised, and yeah, it's that edge of your seat experience. The more you know from the trailers, the less scary it's going to be. I have a. My apologies. I have this thing on my screen. A mark on my screen. Hold on. Wipe that off. I don't even know where that came from. Sorry. One second, guys. My bad. Having an iMac, you have to really keep it clean. Okay. All right. That should be good. My bad. Ah, okay. I think I'm going to refrain from watching any more trailers for Scream 5. Yeah, I mean, the first teaser trailer that came out, um, kind of felt like the official trailer, to be honest, because like they already showed that whole Dewey scene, like Ghostface, going after Dewey, and Dewey having a confrontation with Ghostface, and then we have this trailer shot of like Gail, freaking out, and like Sydney's grabbing her, and then you have uh, Judy Hicks freaking out driving, the car. So it does seem like it's connecting to like he does get killed by Ghostface, and they didn't have to show that in the trailer. Like I would hope that they would not include those things, but the trailer could be throwing us off. They could easily be, you know, they easily could have made a trailer that makes you believe that it's going to be a certain way, but it won't be. So we might be really, really surprised with this movie. Um, and I want to be surprised. Out of any horror franchise, Scream, I would not want to see anything before going into the movie, because that's how I remember watching the first Scream, the second Scream, and Scream 3 growing up. Is I didn't see any trailers before it. I watched it, and it made it a lot more thrilling and exciting and everything because I didn't see any trailers before. So it is hard to avoid the trailers because you want to do reaction videos, and you want people to see your reaction, but then, I ruin the movie for me in a lot of ways. So it is kind of like, what do I do? You don't know if the trailer might not even be that bad too. So it's like trailers are a mess. um I'm glad they didn't get Scream 5 TV show rating. Oh, TV 14. Yeah. Well, I don't think it would have had to have gotten a PG-13 rating or like an R rating. It had to have been one or the other, but for a movie like this it needs to be R. They have to make it R, you know. So, did you guys watch the season finale to Chucky last night? Because I did. That that was like I'm still processing that finale. I'm just like speechless. The franchise has not been this great. The Child's Play Chucky franchise, probably since the first two movies. I know there's I do like Bride of Chucky, and I do like Curse of Chucky. but the first two films, that's when it worked, and and this show is the closest to the first two films, and like I wasn't expecting that with this show. When I watched it, I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be better than that Child's Play remake, but I didn't know it was going to be that great. I didn't had no idea that there was going to be character development. There was going to be the amount of kills in it, the so much stuff in the show. It's just like it's on my list of things to watch. I've been hearing good things. Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but it's better than Child's Play remake. Yeah. Um it was it is like I'm not gonna say it's better than the movies, but it's up there with the first two films. Like it really like wow. Really great, really great. Um a lot of unexpected turns and like twists, and I don't know, it just like I haven't watched a slasher show like this since Scream, since the Scream show, and I'm talking about not necessarily the 3rd season, but the first 2 seasons of, the Scream show. Because I remember tuning in every week for that show, and, I got I got the similar experience, with this Chucky show like I did with Scream, because I don't know, like you see these characters develop each episode and the story keeps going, and there's more surprises, and and you see that they can do so much more with TV than they can with movies, with these stories with these characters. Like I never thought Chucky, Child's Play could ever be a TV show, like how do you make that work? But they made it work. And then Scream, I never thought that could be a TV show, but they made it work the first 2 seasons. They made it work. So as long as it's done right, that I'm like all on board to watch it. And there's other slasher shows, and main one is Slasher. Like that one, like still gets to me. Like that's a really brutal show. But I haven't really tuned in a slasher TV series since now Chucky. I mean since Scream, and now after Scream, Chucky, and like it's so cool. Ghostface, Chucky, these are villains that can have dialogue. They can talk. They're that way you can develop these characters more. If there was a Halloween show or like a Friday the 13th show, like with Jason, um, they don't talk, they don't have dialogue, so it's a lot harder to make a TV show based off villains that don't have any dialogue, not many elements to them, except for just the horror element. It's much harder to make that work. So I would be nervous if Halloween was a TV series. I don't think that would work, honestly, especially by this point. Like Donald Pleasance passed away, in 95. So I would have loved to have seen maybe like a Donald Pleasance spin-off show of just Dr. Loomis's character, That would have been cool, but now that no now that Donald Pleasance has passed away though, I don't think they should go there. And I'm glad, what they're doing with the movies right now. I think that's their best bet. Um I want Friday the 13th to come back. I want a new Friday film. I want Jason, I want to see the hockey mask, like I'm ready. And with the whole rights issues, like I don't know how much long we have to wait as fans for the next Friday film, but hopefully it won't be like 10 years. Like I do expect for all of us to have to wait a long time, but yeah, hopefully not like 10 years. I mean, the last movie was the remake, and that was 2009. I was 13 when I saw that movie. So, like, that was a long time ago, and it's long overdue for a Friday film, you know? Like, with Nightmare on Elm Street, it makes more sense because it's Robert Englund, and how do you make a nightmare film without Robert Englund? But with Friday the 13th, they should have, you know, I would love if they made a film already. Do you think a new Friday film should be set in present day or past? Past. It should be set in the past. It should be set in the 1980s and 90s, before like cell phones, and And because like if they have it set in present day, it's going to be like cell phones, characters with their cell phones and their flashlights on their phones, and I just don't want to see that. Like with Friday the 13th, I want to see characters grab old school flashlights, and make it, retro, exciting, old school. Uh, I I learned that with the Friday remake, maybe it doesn't work in modern day. Maybe, why the Friday 13th franchise worked so well was because it was in the 80s. It was set in the 80s. I mean, the earlier films, they were all in the 80s. Maybe that's why it worked, was that 80s style. Maybe that's what made it, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. And if like these filmmakers, producers, they can go back to these movies and see what worked, and hopefully they can do something like the Friday 13th video game. Like I just kind of want to see that turn into a movie. Like you have a bunch of counselors and kids, there one night, and Jason shows up, and they all have to like survive and hide and run. And it's just a whole survival movie of like these characters, trying to get away in Crystal Lake, trying to escape. I think that would be really cool because that video game is like better than the entire remake altogether. So I agree. Also, all practical effects would be nice. Yes, and practical effects as well. I don't want any CGI. I would like hardcore practical effects, and for them to not have to go through the MPA, anymore, like they had to do back in the 80s. They had to like cut everything out. They were very limited on what they could show, but now, they could show a lot more gore. I want them to kind of, in a way, recreate some of the kills from the old movies, just so they can show what they would have been like uncensored, um, in the 80s. It'd be cool to see like an uncensored 80s Friday film. You know what I mean? Like they could do something really, really cool with I mean, and I know that the franchise, like plenty of people have hundreds of ideas of this franchise, but um, yeah. Can you do review each episode of Chucky like you did the Scream TV show? I'll think about it. I think I'm gonna do like a series review of it, just reviewing the season review. I think I'm good. I'm just gonna review the whole season instead of reviewing every episode. It's very overwhelming to do that because I remember doing that for the Scream show, and it was like, okay, this episode, and I don't know. I mean, I see myself doing that more so for the second season, um, and just reviewing this season just all together, and then maybe doing a live stream just about the show, like maybe in a few months after more people have seen it. But in terms of doing separate uh, episodes to review, I don't know, but definitely for sure for season two though. I will definitely do that for season two. Um, and yeah, so the Evil Dead remake got it right when it comes to effects. Yes, it did. It did. That remake was a lot of fun in the theater. I remember seeing that, and I was just wowed by the effects. But it was because it was practical effects, and you believed it. You believe what's happening when you're watching that film because it's all practical, and there's not a CGI moment where you're like, that's taking me out of the film. Um, now didn't they use those CGI fire for the beginning of Evil Dead remake though? Wasn't some of that CGI the very beginning of the movie? Because if that was practical, that's like some of the greatest practical effects I've ever seen. So, can you keep your live stream? Yes, I will. I will keep my live stream for sure. So you guys can watch it. Ones that weren't able to watch the live stream uh, at this particular time, they'll watch it later. And yeah, anybody that's watching this live stream later, feel free to comment. And whatever I talked about in the live stream that you may agree with or disagree with or anything, just post a comment. And yeah, I had my first table read for The Devil's Servants. about a couple weeks ago. It was really cool, and I have two main leads casted for the Devil Servants. So, like the main three characters of that movie are casted, and other people are being casted right now. Other actors, of course, everybody's doing this nonprofit, and we're planning to film this in January because I've talked to everybody, and I'm wondering what is a really good time, and I would have loved to have filmed the Devil Servants and Insane, starting back in September. I would have loved that. I would have absolutely, and if the pandemic would have never happened, then these movies would be out already. And you guys know that too, because my movies, I got them out like this, like you guys know I don't mess around. So that's the only reason why this has been that slow. Like you guys have had to wait this long. So it's not because, oh, I don't want to do it. I do want to do it. I have the passion and excitement for it. It's just it definitely slowed a lot down. So um I originally wanted to film these in September, but that wasn't possible. So I pushed for October. Didn't happen. November didn't happen. But I'm finally gotten somewhere. Like I'm having table reads of these movies now. So and casting, like it's looking better and better as it goes on. So and I've talked to the producer, nonprofit producer of the movie, and we're going to be filming this in January. That's the month because I would have loved to have made it this month, but December is the busiest month of the whole year. It really is because of all the Christmas shopping and holiday plans that people have and their families and they have and work and just like a bunch of December is like the biggest month of the year. So it's a really hard month to make a movie, low budget, nonprofit. So January is the month, and I plan to complete filming both movies in February of next year. So it'll be like a month shoot, um, and it should be done by the end of February. Um, and if it isn't done by like the end of February, then there might be a delay of these movies once again, which I really hope not, because like I'm gonna be 27 next year, and I'm just not getting any younger, and I want to play these characters, and you know and make other films too, and have time for those movies, because I'm just not getting younger, and life is short, and that's why these things stress me out a bit when they don't work out, because life is so short. Um, does your actors want to do it? Film these movies? Are they on board with it? Do you think they will back out? Let me reread your comment. Sorry. Does your actors want to do it? Yes, they do. Film these movies. Are they on board with it? Uh, I believe so. The ones I've casted so far. Do you think they will back out? I hope not. I hope they don't back out. I really hope they don't back out. That's that's at least what I need right now. At least like I do not need that right now. And I don't know. I don't know. I wish I would get a little bit more respect after, I don't know, doing this for like 12, 13 years. Uh, you know, um, but you know, the world was never meant to be fair. The world is never meant to be fair, and I've learned that in life is it's not fair. And whenever it is fair, it's a really big deal. um oh, thank you, Twisted Chris. I appreciate that. Your support. I hope so. I hope the actors don't back out as well. Um and I don't know why they would, unless we got into another, quarantine kind of situation again, you know. Um, but other than that, I if that doesn't happen, then it should go good. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Twisted Chris. Um, yeah, I I'm just really excited to bake these because what I would love is to get out. I would have loved to have gotten two like short teaser trailers out this month for both movies as like as announcements more so than like a teaser trailer. So it might may show like some form of footage, but then also have like the title text effect kind of thing. Um, and I would have loved to have done that to get you guys really excited for next year. So if I get anything out for Devil Servants or Cage of Madness Part Two, any sort of like promotion this month, it'll be very teasery. It will not show really anything, and but I do want to get something out though. Like it's just I have to get something out. It'll go smoothly. I'm putting that out in the universe. Oh, thank you, Mario Mania. I will stick to that way of thinking. I'm looking forward to see your movies. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting, but only when, I'm actually filming these movies, it'll be exciting. And then to be able to edit them and have that experience with me and the computer and the editing software and be like, okay, here we go. Here's Final Cut Pro. Here's my iMac. Well, I'm gonna get right to it. I would love to be doing that right now, to be editing these movies, but you know, I just want you guys to know that, this means everything to me. So I'm not going to like give up on these projects and let them go. I'm going to, continue to find a way to make them somehow. I think what would help is if I did have a second writer, a second screenwriter, because it's all me. I'm the writer for like every single film, so I'm never given like those like insights from like another writer, like, hey, you know, you only have these certain kind of actors casted. What if you changed, these scenes, or you cut this part out of the script, or this or that? I don't have anybody like there to like give me those ideas. So that is a really challenging part, is when I have to go through rewrites when I'm casting people, and the writing changes, because I know that I don't always get it right, and that another writer, to hear their voice would be helpful, and unless, like, of course, their ideas were completely different from mine, and there'd be no way I could agree with that person. um when will the trailer will come out? um when will the trailer come out? It'll come out, well, uh, in terms of like a Devil Servants announcement trailer and Cage of Madness Part 2 announcement trailer, that I'm pushing for this month to do that. Like right before the new year, or drop it like on New Year, and just to get you guys excited. It's not going to be like much, but if you guys can, like, hit the like button on those two announcement trailers, just to like, build the hype, I would appreciate it. Add it to your favorites, and share it if you can. Um, and that's the soonest you guys are going to get anything from these two films. Sadly, I apologize, but there will be, if the filming process goes the way it should go. Filming will, if it's completed in February, there will be a trailer for Insane Cage of Madness Part 2 by the end of March, or sometime in April. Um, you'll get a trailer for that. And then for Devil Servants, the trailer will come out in July or August. Um, and there'll probably be like two trailers for both movies, possibly. I don't want to like spoil these films, because I mean, these movies aren't like, 2 hours, so I don't like, there's only so much I can, show, without giving a lot away, giving a lot of the story away. So I don't know. Both movies may only get like one trailer and like a then like a 30-second little teaser, kind of thing. Like an internet spot. Remember I used to make those internet spots. They were kind of like TV spots, but like my own versions of like doing TV spots. Um, I might do like a couple of those because they're like short, you know. So I'll probably do like one full length trailer for both movies, and then probably a TV spot or a couple TV spots, TV spots, internet spots for them, and those will be out next year. So I mean, I can't really give any confirmation of like any of these trailers coming out until those movies are filmed. So, once they're filmed, then I will make an announcement to everybody and talk about, when, a trailer is gonna come out and behind the scenes stuff, and I can release production, photos and, that's gonna be really exciting, but, the footage has to be shot first for that. Um, can you make a 2-hour movie? One day I would love to make a 2-hour movie. In a way, the Destiny of a Ghost Face was 2 hours, because I split that into 2 films, and I shot those back to back, part 1, part 2, and I had to cut a lot out of those movies too because, like, a lot of things, like, dragged on or, certain shots went on, like, way too slow, but, those were both 2 big movies, and I shot them back to back, and, that almost equals up to, like, 2 hours. I remember the total of footage when I completed both those movies was like over 4 hours of footage that I had, close to 5 hours. So it was a lot of footage I had to go through. Um, but that's the closest I've come to like any like long movie. And Insane Cage of Madness would have been an hour and a half. It would have been my longest short film because it wouldn't even have been a short film. It would have been probably up there with like, being like an hour and a half. Um, but I decided to make it a two-parter, and, that makes more sense in a way because then it's, than a short film, then it's not an hour. But yes, one day I would love to make a 2-hour film and, you know, release a 2-hour movie and see what people think. Maybe people would like that more would you guys like my movies longer or shorter? I wonder that. Do you guys wanna see longer films or do you wanna see shorter films? Um, and even it's cool to see, like, both, but, um, that's something, yeah, I do plan on doing, one day is a full length film. It's just making short movies, um, they're faster to make and then you can make, like, other, movies as well. So because like, a 2-hour movie that can take, a long time. And if I cut it to 30 minutes, then, it's a lot shorter. It takes a lot faster to make it. And it's like more likely it'll happen too. I think to make like a 2-hour big movie, that would require like a big budget, So that's kind of like the situation is like I have to make these movies short because of my budget restraints. Um, but you know what? You never know. I might make a film that's 2 hours and make it work somehow. And if so, great. You know. Um, what was your toughest slash easiest film making experience? Thank you, Mario Mania. That's a good question. Um, the toughest easiest film making experience. Okay, I would say the toughest uh, would have been Halloween: New Blood. That probably was the hardest movie that I've made. But to be honest, it would be these 2 films right now, Insane Cage of Madness Part 1, Part 2, and The Devil Servants because of the, pandemic. Um, because of that, um, they kinda are the hardest movies to make out of all the movies I've made. because what at least I could say about all those previous movies is it was before the pandemic and they were easier to make. So despite the challenges and everything I had to go through with those, they were a lot more possible to be made than they are right now. And so I would say these are the toughest. Now you're asking easiest experience of any of my movies. Let's talk about easiest experience. Um, well, every movie's challenging, but if I were to say which one was like really easy, it'd probably be the first Jester, the first Halloween November 1st, um, probably Insane and Insane Michael's Origin. So that's four. Uh, and let's see, because I'm trying to remember. I'm going back in time, like which ones were the easiest. Um, yep, I think those were the only ones that were that easy. All the other movies, all the other short films I've made have been that challenging. Um, for better, for worse. But the easiest ones I remember were Jester, Halloween, November 1st, not just returns, um, November 1st, Jester, Insane, and Insane Michael's Origin. So yes, the Insane movies weren't that difficult to make, and and I think that's probably why I was able to get out of part one during the pandemic, because the Insane films are it's the whole less is more, and these are psychological films. They're not really, it requires all these, stunts and locations and stuff, so, they're a lot easier to make because I do the whole less is more with those films. Part 2, though, Cage of Madness Part 2 is the biggest out of all 4 of the movies, though, because Part 2 is kind of the last insane film, and so I kinda want to end it, with, like, a big 3rd act, rather than how usually the previous films end. I wanna do something a little different, and, yeah, um, so those are probably the easiest. The hardest were all the Scream movies, all the Scream movies, and then these new ones, The Devil Servants, Insane Cage of Madness Part 1, Part 2 would be the hardest. So, yeah, any of the films, prior, they were all challenging, but I got them done, and, I made it happen. So that's interesting because Halloween New Blood is one of my favorites. I guess it goes to show struggle can make a great film. Yep. Um, that happens with movies, But then like you hear about the original Halloween, they made that for so low budget and everybody had so much fun working on that movie, and then, it turned out to be such a big blockbuster. So you really don't know what movies. It depends on the people you're working with and all that, and the crew and the cast, and the script. But yeah, the Miner versus Jason, a Ghostface story was extremely challenging. But at the same time, though, that was a fun movie. Though it was a fun movie to make. It was challenging, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun. That's probably the most fun I've had. That wasn't the easiest movie to make, but that was the most fun I've ever had making a movie. Was the Miner versus Jason, because the cast was so big, and it was just so fun. It was such a fun movie to make because it was such a big movie, but I felt like I was making a real big blockbuster movie, and it was something so fun about that, and people didn't quite understand like why I wanted to make it in black and white. I shot the whole movie in color, but I don't know how you guys would feel about a colored cut being released, one day. If you guys would be interested in that, a colored cut. Um, I would have to do some changes, but if you guys ever wanted to see that movie in color, um, even though I do think it looks better in black and white, especially that it's low budget. The cameras, I think, giving it that old film look, it works. It makes sense. But Okay. Can you make your movies better quality in HD, not on iPhone? Thank you for the honesty, Twisted Chris. Yes, I'm using my Osmo camera mainly for my next two films, and my sister is getting the iPhone 13. So I think I'm going to shoot some scenes with the iPhone 13 because I've heard a lot of great things about that camera, and I've shot scene. Well, the scenes that I ever film with my iPhone always look really really good. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna use my Osmo, and stay away from the Canon cameras because the qualities of those are good, but they're not like insanely good. So I'm probably going to get less takes for both movies, but that's because I want to get better quality out of my films. I do want to get good camera quality, and so people can say, "Oh, this looks really good. This looks so HD," instead of "Oh, it looks cheap." I don't want that. So I've paid attention a lot to picture of my films, quality, in the last year. I didn't really care about it as much until this year, but I do feel like my films have gotten better throughout time in terms of the camera quality. I do think there's an improvement. Like every movie, I feel like it does get better. um, but yeah, I'm always focusing on making my films look better and better, uh, and because that's important, is to keep your quality, you know, good, of your picture of your video. So thank you, Twisted Chris. I always appreciate that. Um, yeah, Mario Mania. Why is Halloween New Blood your favorite out of all my movies? Actually, I guess it was another, subscriber, but I thought, your favorite movie of mine was, Insane, or just the Insane series in general. Because I don't know if it was you or it was another YouTuber that would say, like, "This is, like, the best work you've made in, like, years or like, a long time," or this or that. So, I don't know, may have been someone else, but, yeah. Sometimes I get my subscribers, mixed up sometimes, I apologize about that, but, yeah, it is cool to hear someone say their favorite is Halloween: New Blood because, that was a very challenging film. There were parts that were fun because it was Halloween all year. Because I was filming that movie from, like, March of 2019 to August of 2019, and, uh it was just nuts because I had to consistently have Halloween decorations for the scenes and, like, had to make it look Halloween, consistently. So I felt like it was Halloween all year in 2019. I felt like I was in that season for, like, the whole year. Like, it that was crazy. So when you're making a film that's set on a holiday, you kinda are experiencing that holiday every day when you're filming those scenes. So that was fun. That was the funnest part of it. Um, but it was a very challenging film. It definitely stressed me out a lot, and it takes a lot for a movie to, like, really stress me out, like, feel that stressed. I remember the last night of filming that movie. I almost walked off set because I got like really upset, um, and I was done by that point with the movie in terms of the filming process. Like, I that was the last night of filming, and always the last day of shooting, the last night of filming. It's always the hardest for me. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like there's the finish line. It's right there. It's right there, but it's always like that. You're right there. You're just about to make it. Kind of thing. Um, yeah. So it's always like the first day of filming and the last day of filming, but a lot of times the last day of filming because it's like this is the last day of filming the movie. So it's always that pressure. Same with the first day of filming, but, like, the first day can be really exciting because you don't know, like, how it's gonna go, and you hope it's gonna go good, but when you get to that final day of filming, it's really challenging because it's just as the director and the writer knowing this is the last day of filming, there should be a documentary about movies where it goes into the last day of filming for, like, so many films and, like, how everything went on that last day of that movie, you know? 'Cause, like, I can't imagine how they wrap up, real movies, and TV shows and stuff, like, on the final day, like, it's gotta be, like, the most challenging, part of it. Insane is my favorite, but Halloween: New Blood is up there. Okay. Alright, so it was you that said that, okay. Alright. Yeah, I mean, Insane is, like, my own original idea, I mean, uh, it was a very different kind of movie to make because I never made a movie like that before. All my films prior were slasher films, and Insane wasn't a slasher movie, I think that's what was, what made it different and what made it really, really cool was that it was different from all the other films, but it had elements from my previous movies, so you could feel the horror, but it wasn't like as much horror, like, like it was psychological horror, it was like, messing with your mind kind of film. Uh, but yeah, I always enjoyed that, the simplicity of the Insane films, but making it so intense. Um, uh, yeah, and probably my favorite scene out of Halloween: New Blood would probably be the whole third act of the movie. The whole chase sequence, when at the very end, when um, Claire, Kelly, the character Kelly, when she's hiding in the house and she, has the axe and she's confronting Michael Myers and like all that. Like that was probably my favorite part of the whole movie. Was that? Um, uh, can you do like Scream 5 fan film? Once you get green screen, do you know how to edit with green screen? Um, Green screen is actually very difficult for me. I did use green screen for the Destiny of a Ghostface Part 2. I don't know if you guys remember that scene when Casey was in the helicopter. Remember when she escapes in the helicopter to escape Woodsboro and to go to New York Destiny of Ghostface Part 2. That whole helicopter shot of her, like that was green screen. Um, but it is very hard to do, for me, is green screen because you're adding something in the background that wasn't originally there, and then when the person moves their head, and stuff, and it with green screen, like, sometimes you can see that it's green screen, and I'm not a really a big fan of green screen, to be honest. I don't like to use green screen. Uh, it's kind of a pain, and I just figure why do green screen if I can just film this in a real location? If I could just film this like on an actual set, why do green screen then? I try to avoid it if I can. I have been open-minded to the idea, but it is a really stressful thought because if I shot a whole film in green screen, the the editing process would take a long time, and I wouldn't even guarantee that every scene would work, and if the green screen would work, I would have to make sure the lighting worked, like, that's why you have to have, like, a gigantic crew to do that kinda stuff, but I'm just not skilled on that level, when it comes to, like, green screen. Um, I'm just not really the CGI person. Like like I'm the writer of these films. I'm the director. I'm not really and yeah, I'm the editor when it comes to putting the scenes together and the footage and all that. But in terms of the certain effects like that, that's very hard for me to pull off. Now, I will continue to do more research, and I have done research on green screen throughout time. It's just really difficult for me. So I try to avoid green screen if possible. And if I ever do green screen with any of my films, I will definitely have someone else help me with that because that it's too much. Um, the ending sequence is my favorite as well. Yeah, it's just like the music in the third act of Halloween New Blood, and and like the flashlight, and the flickering lights and all that, and Michael Myers breaks through the door and he tilts. By the way, that was me who played Michael Myers in the third act. By the way, when Michael Myers breaks the door open and he tilts his head and he looks at Kelly, that I played Michael Myers in that scene when I get my hand cut off and all that. Um, and I'm trying to find her in the closet and all that. And then I played Michael Myers in some far away shots, like any times when Michael Myers would be like hiding in the bushes or he'd be walking in the street. Those shots of me, those are shots of me as Michael Myers. Um, and then it was like other actors who played Michael Myers. Aside from the main guy was Kevin Panada, who played him. Um, and he played Michael Myers in the garage scene in the very beginning of the movie, and he played Michael Myers with the scene, my sister's death scene in the movie, um, and then the character Nick when he gets killed off, that was Kevin Panada, and a couple other shots. Also, when Michael Myers is in the car, that shot of him in the car, that brief shot, that's Kevin as well. And then my stepdad played Michael Myers for one shot when Claire takes the ghost sheet off of Michael Myers, Kelly. She thinks that it's Cassidy, but it's not Cassidy. It's Michael Myers. And then Michael Myers then sits up, stabs her in the arm, and she runs. That one shot there of Michael Myers, that was my stepdad. So, now if you're asking, will I make a Scream fan film? All right, now I can talk about this, guys. It's been long. It's all right. It's been 3 years. Over no, it's gonna be 4 years since the Miner versus Jason a Ghostface story. So I can tell you guys the next Scream movie. All right, you guys want to hear it? Like, I can talk a little bit about it. I'm not afraid to, but it is a little too soon to talk about it because I don't plan to make it like in a year or anything like that. But the movie could come out sooner than expected. Um, but I always plan to make another Scream movie like in 2000 and like 28. But that might be too, far because I would be 33. But that's the point though, is the next Scream movie, like I'm gonna be in it, but it's I want it to be set, years, like after the first six movies. But here's the thing. Um all right, I can reveal the title. So we'll start there. How about the title? I'm so nervous to talk about the plot and everything. But okay. So it's called New Ghostface. That's the title. Now, that's probably what they're gonna have to do with the future Scream titles. They'll probably have to call it New Scream, you know? And I think they should do that as a nod to New Nightmare because it's Wes Craven. I think New Scream would have been better than just calling it Scream, to be honest. Instead of calling it Scream, the new one, New Scream would have been cooler. Um, or Scream Again, or something like that. But anyway, it's called New Ghostface, and me and my sister are going to be in the movie. But we're not playing Sydney and Kyle. We are playing um, uh, ourselves because what I'm doing with New Ghostface is it's going to be meta. I've never made a film insanely meta before, but this will be my most meta like film. I always wanted to make my own New Nightmare, and I always had ideas for doing that with the Scream series because I feel like it would work for Scream. And so I'm going to be playing myself. My sister's going to be playing herself, and the plot pretty much is basically someone's obsessed with me and my sister and our fan films that we've made on YouTube. And there's actually like a real life ghost face, like a fan that's like been stalking us for like ever. And they have like ghost face plans, just like a ghost face in the real movies. And this ghost face wants to basically kill every actor in the of the people that were in the Scream fan films. So this ghost face is targeting the real actors in real life, and they want to play a game. They want to play a big game, and it's going to be meta. But then it screams meta anyway, and so I feel like this would work, and especially that mm, Kyle died in Destiny of Ghostface Part One, my character, and then Sydney Cassidy's character died in Destiny of Ghostface Part Two. So we couldn't even return to the series, anyway, with that original timeline. So it will be a new timeline, and it won't be really a sequel to the first six movies, but it will acknowledge them, but it will be meta. So it will be like a new nightmare kind of situation. Um, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So don't know when I'm going to be making that film, and I will not really be talking about it again unless I it's for sure it'll happen. But I'm definitely that's plans one day to make that. Now that Scream Five's coming out and we have Scream Six, Scream Six got announced, right? Um, there's the new Scream hype, and when that hype is around, that's when people want to see a bunch of fan films because when they're waiting for the next movie, they want to watch anything new Scream. I remember that when I made The Haunting of a Ghost Face, Revenge of a Ghost Face, Destiny of a Ghost Face. Like people love this franchise. I have learned that, and uh, it's it's a series I would come back to, but only for one more movie, and it is a new nightmare thing. It stands on its own. It's not connected to it's just it's gonna be a fun standalone Scream fan film. Um, but I think that's kind of the best way I could really go with it, with any of the plots, by this point. Sounds really fun, really interesting concept. Nice title. Thank you, Mario Mania. Um, yeah, I've thought about New Ghostface, that title. I've thought about this movie since 2017, 2018. So it was when I was almost done with the Miner versus Jason and Ghostface story. When I was editing that film, I was thinking about making another one. Not right away by any means, but I did say to my sister back in like 2016, I think I said, "Hey, how would you feel if we returned to this franchise like 10 years, like later, and or like close to that?" And we not revisit our characters, but you know um, sort of revisit that original series, but we'd be doing something new at the same time. So but I've talked to her about it and she's down for it, which is really cool because I think that it would be new and fresh and really exciting, because it wouldn't be connected to those movies, you know? Um, it would still stand on its own. So it'd be like a new nightmare kind of thing. And it's just such a fun concept, such a fun idea that I've had for so long. But I feel like people would enjoy it. So I'm not saying no to another Scream fan film. I don't know when, but there is a title, there is a plot, there is a story, all there. If I do in fact return to the franchise, but that's the only way I would return to the series. What they gonna call Scream Six? Scream Kills? You know what? They might, because they're not gonna call it Scream Returns, you know, or Scream Lives, you know? I think what really only fits is, like, Scream Again. Um, yeah, um, unless they wanted to, like, stick to the Red Right Hand, like, lyrics, you know, because remember Scream Once, Scream Twice, Scream Again. Like, what if the next one's called Scream Twice? You know, and then after Scream Twice, it's called Scream Again. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they just don't keep it numbered, you know? Scream I would have loved for this to the intro, it says Scream, and then the S turns into a 5, you know? Like, that's what we wanted, you know? Um, Scream 6, then what they could have done with the E, they would have turned the E into a 6. So it would have been, you know, Scree 6 you know, would have like that's what was so cool about Scream 4 is it opened with Scream and then the A turned into a 4. You know, that was the coolest thing ever. Um, and I wish they could have done that with Scream 5 and they could have done that with Scream 6, but they clearly don't wanna call it Scream 5, Scream 6. So I don't know. Mario Mania, what do you think that they would call Scream 6? 'Cause, like, I I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be surprised if they did call it, Scream Kills. Mario Mania, are you still there? Oh, okay. I honestly have no idea, LOL. I know, like, what would they call it? I honestly believe they're only calling Scream 5 Scream because they want a higher box office, you know, they want to make more money off of it, and then maybe they will call Scream 6 Scream 6, you know, and maybe this movie is called Scream over Scream 5 because maybe the title just calling it Scream is supposed to, you know, represent something with the plot. But them going back to Stu's house in you know, from the first movie and stuff, like, what if that's the reason they're calling it Scream, the title, is because it's all going back to the first movie, you know, and that's what this sequel is about. Because Scream 4 was returning to Woodsboro, but it wasn't about going back to, like, everything that the original did. Um, this movie seems more like whoever Ghostface is in this is trying to go back to the very first film and recycle things and take things from that era. So maybe that's why it's called Scream because it's someone's literally trying to remake the first film, but not trying to remake it. So I don't know. I'm trying to like live with this title just being called Scream over Scream 5 and like help me out here. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them to call it Scream Kills. I know. I mean, they clearly don't wanna number these films anymore, but Scream only works with numbering, my opinion. I mean, maybe 'cause it's nostalgia too. I'm so used to it, you know, Scream 2, shing, 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 Scream 3 is 4, you know, it's you know, and so I go into expectations that Scream 5 is gonna, you know, open with this scream, and then 5 turn into a 5, you know? Um, wasted opportunity, and, I don't think them calling it Scream 5 would have hurt the box office at all for this film. Um, it looks like a really, really good sequel, and, um, I don't feel like they really needed to change the title, but, I mean, we already have 3 Halloween films called 3 Halloween we have 3 films in the Halloween franchise called Halloween, you know? So It's like the Scream have to go through that, and it's only the 5th movie. Like, I get it with Halloween because, like, that was a remake, and then the new one was a sequel set 40 years after the original movie. So I understood why those were called Halloween. I could see that in the marketing reasons, but for this, I really don't. It's the 5th movie. The franchise hasn't it's been around for a long time, but hasn't been around since, like, 1978 or 74 or 84, you know? Uh, this is, I wouldn't say is a more recent franchise, but I still feel like it is too soon to, you know, just call it Scream, any of the Scream films, but they should embrace it like Stranger Things, they number their seasons. Exactly. Even Chucky, they're the season 2 trailer that came out, it's, like, called Chucky 2. That was cool. That was cool. Yeah. I know. I don't even wanna watch any of the trailers for Stranger Things. I just wanna watch the final season. I don't wanna know anything when watching it. I just wanna go into it, like a new season, binge watch it, and not know what to expect. As I've learned that too, Netflix trailers, they do give a lot away of their movies. I've seen that as well. Oh, can you do part 2 of Halloween New Blood, please? I feel like the movie not complete. Um, I mean, it was kind of the point was for Halloween New Blood to end sort of on a cliffhanger, because I just didn't want to do a beginning, middle, and end. I kinda did wanna leave it open, but at the same time, just because I left it open didn't mean that I wanted to come back to it, though, because I remember saying, when I was making the Halloween November films, I said, "All right, after November 3rd," no, this was after November 3rd. I said, "After November 4th, I'm gonna make," I didn't know I was gonna shoot them back to back, Halloween November 4th and Halloween New Blood. But I said, "After November 4th, I'm gonna make one more Halloween fan film, and it's gonna stand on its own. It's not gonna be connected to the first 4 movies. It's gonna be its own thing, and, but it's gonna be connected to, the original series." So, uh I thought in my head, okay, well, when am I gonna make this final Halloween fan film? Am I gonna do it now? Or am I gonna, wait till 2025? But I didn't know what was gonna happen and everything. And there was something telling me, my mind was telling me, uh, make Halloween New Blood. Now, originally it was called Halloween The Shape Lives, but then that title has already been used by some other YouTuber, one of their fan films. So I wanted to go with the title that um, was hasn't been used yet for the Halloween films. So I thought New Blood was a fitting title. There's a Dexter New Blood, Friday the 13th New Blood. So I just kind of went with the New Blood uh, title, and um, that was, to me, better to do that than to call it The Shape Lives, a title that's already been taken. You know. Um, but I don't think I'm gonna do a Halloween New Blood sequel. Um, there's plenty of other movies I wanna make, and I have a lot of love and respect for the Halloween franchise. My first fan film was a Halloween movie, was a Halloween short film, so I do have a lot of love for that franchise, and Halloween's kind of like where it all started. But uh, I want to do it right and get everything right because Halloween you don't want to mess it up. The worst thing ever is make a bad Halloween film, or bad Halloween short film. And so if I were to ever come back to Halloween, it wouldn't be for a long time. And yeah, because I have no outline, no nothing planned for how the story would continue. So, uh, Yeah, that's pretty much it. Halloween New Blood. That's kind of like my last Halloween film, to be honest. I've made 5 Halloween fan films. That's like 5. You know, so I feel like I've done my thing. I've done what I wanted to do, and you know what? If something changes in the next 5 years, maybe I will make another Halloween fan film. But I right now it's a no. It's a no. I have other projects that I want to make. Um, like even going back to Scream, the idea of that is crazy because like I want to continue to make new films, new stories, new everything, and not go back and recycle franchises. I don't want to repeat the same you know movies. I want to create new content. The whole thing of new content is new content and not recycled content. You know. Um, but I know you guys love my fan films and all that, and I do too. Um, but anytime I do something original, it's a lot more exciting. Uh, I was just asking. Sorry for asking. No, don't be sorry for asking. That's my purpose. Is to answer your guys' questions. If you have questions, about my films, I'd be more than happy to answer. I'm perfectly fine with a bunch of questions. Because that's what I want. I want to be able to talk to you guys, and the more I can talk to you guys, is the more you guys ask me questions. So don't be sorry for asking a fan question. That is a fan question. Is hey, are you going to make a Halloween New Blood sequel? Halloween New Blood was really good. I really like what you did with that movie. Are you interested in making another film? Like yeah, that's a question that I was, that I have gotten before. Um, but I've let people know that I have no plans for another Halloween film. It was also something. Uh, do you see yourself eventually making any dramas, comedies, etc.? Yeah, I do. I That's what I would love to do is to make a drama, to make a comedy. I don't know. Comedy is kind of the most scariest genre for me to the idea of like directing a, a film is comedy. It's because I'm good at directing dark storylines, dark characters, dark settings, everything dark. I just like that's my directing style, and I think it's because I have PTSD. I let all that out like in my writing. Any of fears that I have, any nightmares I have, I conquer them through my films. So that's why I'm best at writing dark stuff because it's from the heart. Comedies, like I don't know, it's just um I don't know, like people have said that I'm funny and that I can be funny. I've made people laugh and stuff, but in terms of just writing a comedy, I don't know if I could do it. In terms of maybe I could direct a comedy, but I would have to go through the script again and again. I would have to talk to the screenwriter. I would have to get actors that could be funny too. That's another problem that you run into with a comedy is can these people act funny? Can these people be funny? You know? Um, so that's if I were to wait on any genre any like genre last to try, it would be comedy because that that sounds like really, really, really difficult. And it's just not up my alley. Um, so it's just yeah, it's not my thing. Even though I love comedies, I don't think I could. But I'm going to try dramas and fantasy and probably science fiction and action. Um, but it's mainly dramas I want to explore other than horror. But I'm not against the comedy. It would have to be with the right crew, the right cast and crew, and I don't know like, that would even be possible. So, oh god. Yeah, comedies are tough. You have to get your timing exactly right. Yeah, you have to get it exactly right. And if I can't promise that I'll make that funny of a comedy, that I'm not going to make a comedy. But maybe I could see myself doing like a scary movie thing, something where it's like a horror, it's a comedy where it's making fun of a bunch of horror films. So maybe like a scary movie spin-off kind of thing, I could see myself doing. Um, because that would be like, it would still be like sort of that genre, but not. So it would be sort of easier to create humor because I would I'd be going back to things that I've already done before, but just adding humor in them and doing them differently. So maybe I could do something like that, like a horror comedy or like a scary movie kind of movie. Um, I just don't know if like just doing a straight up comedy film I could do. Maybe like in the future of my life, maybe in 10 years from now, but I'm just not at that state right now as a filmmaker to be able to make comedy. But I would love to though at some point. It just I have to be ready for that. Um, can you believe next month, New Year? Wow, I know next year is 2022. But kind of happy about it though, because like the more we get away from 2020 that year, the more, we're going to get back into, how things were. And it's going to be a lot easier for people to be able to do things. And it's going to be easier for filmmakers and just everybody, and so um, every time like a new year where it says 2021 or 2022, it is like exciting because you're moving forward and we're getting away from that past, and we're moving forward, and yeah. Um, can you believe next month, New Year, it seems like 2021 just starting? Yeah, I already answered that. Um, yeah, 2021 went really quick. Um, but I wouldn't say that was necessarily a bad thing though, because this year was really rough for me. I lost a lot of family members this year. Um, so it was yeah, family members and friends I lost this year. It was really hard. Um, yeah, this year was really tough. I think this was harder than 2020. I think so because like with 2020 that's when it just started, so if you think about, like, before, we all had to quarantine, my life was it was, like, good, and everything was intact, my movies were intact, and everything was just, like, the way it was. So at least I can remember 2020 a little bit before, it really we all had to quarantine, like, I can remember how that was. But with 2021, it was that all year and then us getting out of it. But then, hey, you're out of quarantine, but you still kind of are, or you kind of aren't. And it's just, just a lot for me to process, a lot for me to take. So, uh, but yeah, um, losing family and friends this year was really rough. And it just, uh, shows how short life is, which is why I went to go visit my uncle Gary in October last month when I went to see Halloween Kills with him. Because when you lose family and friends, you just you all you want to do is see your family and friends, and spend the time you can with them. But oh my God, I just noticed today you messaged me a while ago and it never notified me. Thank God I'm getting a new phone this week, so that'll hopefully stop happening. I'll respond later tonight. Also, good evening. Haha. Probably should have led with that. Hey Zach. Oh my eye, sorry. Oh, some dust. I gotta dust my desk. Um Uh, yeah, thank you for joining the live stream, live chat, Zach. Guys, Zach Bartron, if that hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name right. he wants to be a part of my films. He wants to be a crew member, and he wants to do it nonprofit. He's offering, and I think that's really nice of him. So we all should give him a round of applause in the live stream. Anybody that's in here, because yeah, I haven't ever really have had anybody, any of my subscribers, any of my fans. I've never really met them in person and like collaborated with them before. So Zach would be like one of the like he'd be like the first guy that I would ever um, uh, have as a crew member or cast member or anything on my films that is a subscriber. Um, so round of applause to him. And uh, yeah, he wants to be a part of the cinematography with the Devil Servants and Insane Cage of Madness Part Two. One of those movies. Um, so I've been talking to him, and it's been really cool. And I thank Zach. And if things don't work out this time around, scheduling, time, you're always offered to be a crew member in my future projects, even if it doesn't work out with these. But I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Hello, uh, Eric, uh, Veer Holler 92. Hopefully, I pronounced your username right. Uh, Making movies is not easy. Yes, it can be a recipe for drama sometimes. Yeah, I I've had my experience of that. I've had a lot of drama with my films. Probably the most drama I've ever had in my life is my films. It's probably my movies. Even I still feel like it could have been worse. It was still pretty intense. I've had some really bad um, experiences with my films before. And you guys have seen, like some behind the scenes stuff in the past videos I had to delete. I decided to delete myself because I just didn't think they were appropriate anymore for my channel. Um, and but there was always a lot of drama that would go on, and I also had a lot of fun with my actors. There was a lot of fun experiences I had with my cast and crew throughout time. But yeah, I've had some films where you know there's some of those rough days, and then there's those actors that drop out and they don't want to be a part of it, and they shot like half of the movie. They don't even necessarily they didn't care about the story, or they had to shoot these other two scenes unless the movie wouldn't work. So I would be screwed over sometimes like that. Um, and that was never an easy situation. But see, when you're dealing with people, it's yeah, it's quite a challenge. And when the movie is like released and it's on YouTube and you see the likes and the comments, it's like what like this is a reality. It does like hit me like wow, like I got the movie made. It worked out. It turned out good. Now I don't react necessarily that way to every movie I've made, but for some movies I have. Um, when I uh, oh, when I tried making a zombie movie, the producer straight up strangled me. Oh, he literally strangled you? Well, that's not a good producer. Physical violence. Uh, what? Sorry to hear that. Um, First season of Scream TV show. Do you think that's why they wouldn't be in season 3 of Scream season 3 because there was drama? Well, now they are going to make a season 3 of those original actors from the first 2 seasons of Scream because now the Weinsteins are no longer involved, and that was the reason why there was all that drama. But now that the Weinsteins are no longer as involved as they were, to none at all. Um, MTV is renewing the show, and they are going to bring it back, and it'll be after Scream 5, and I think it will be cool to like for the show to be back on TV, but also to be hyped for Scream 6 because we know a Scream 6 is on its way. We know they're gonna make a Scream 6. I feel like Scream 5, it looks too epic and there's too much hype for it to fail, and I don't think they would greenlit a sixth Scream movie yet if, they didn't see the success in it. So, um, yep, he sure did. He also punched the makeup artist in the stomach. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, that's why I was glad I finally got to make a movie this year I tried for my entire life. Oh, wow. Well, congratulations that you were finally able to make a Scream um, film. No, it's not Scream film. No, sorry. Congratulations that you were able to make a movie um, because it's not easy and sounds like you went through a very challenging experience. So, congratulations that you got to. Because not everybody, yeah, does get the opportunity to make a film or a short film or anything like that. So, uh, so I think I'm gonna live stream for another like 15 minutes, and then I'll get off here. Because I did start live streaming around 6:30. So, um, I'd say, yeah, a little bit before 8:30, I'll get off the live stream. So another good, I guess, like 20 minutes, if like that's cool for you guys, because I don't, no, I don't want to make this live stream like 3 hours or anything like that, but now more people have come into the chat, so I do want to extend this live stream a little bit longer, but yeah. Um, So how's your guys' nights going? Mario Mania, Twisted Chris, Zach Bartron, Eric Veer Holler 92. How's your guys' nights going? I mean, how's your Wednesday night? And are you guys enjoying the holidays? Because now we're in the holiday season. Good. I got a lab quiz tomorrow. Okay. I'm doing pretty good. I'm eating dinner now. LOL. I lost all respect for the Weinsteins. Yeah. Yep. I have no respect for the Weinsteins either. Um, My night pretty good. Okay, Twisted Chris. They're both POS. Yeah, yep, yep, yep. Wednesday is going good. Finally finished setting up all the outside Christmas lights, so that chore is done. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I've been slowly uh starting to Christmas decorate and I've been listening to a lot of Christmas music and oh, that was a ladybug. Um I been trying to get into the Christmas spirit and vibe and everything. And where I'm from in Wisconsin, the Midwest, we get snow like very early on. So if say I lived in Wisconsin right now, there'd be like snow outside. Um, so still getting used to PA not snowing as much as Wisconsin. I'm so used to so much snow. So it's a little different experience out here. It's kind of like a mix between Florida and Wisconsin, like weather. It's kind of like a mix between that, PA. Um, Keep the live stream, Ryan. Please, yes, I will keep the live stream for sure. Well, maybe I can. Favorite Christmas films? I just watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation for the first time, and I thought it was great. Wow. Yeah, my first viewing for Christmas Vacation was my favorite. Like, that kinda movie, Christmas Vacation, that's always, like, the most fun, like, first viewing. That's a very, like, first viewing kinda movie where it only works, like, that well, first viewing, kinda thing. Um My favorite Christmas films would probably be A Christmas Story, Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3. Nothing past Home Alone 3. By the way, I can't believe Disney bought Fox just to make that bad Home Alone sequel, by the way. I can't believe that. That they could have done literally anything. They could have done um, they could have brought back what Macaulay Culkin and did like a like he leaves his kid home alone, or something like that. They could have done something like a lot more faithful to the franchise, and like a series return kind of thing over just I'm just tired of all these new characters, that they're nothing but bad characters, in these sequels. I mean, 4 and 5 were so bad, especially 4. Um but, oh my god. I mean, how can you mess up Home Alone? I'm sorry, that's my question. How can you mess up Home Alone? It's literally like I mean, I had tons of ideas growing up of, like, how Home Alone movie could be made. Like, it's literally a story about a kid that's home alone, and burglars come into the house, and the kid has to defend themselves with, like, traps and stuff. Like, how hard is it to make a good film with that little bit of a story, you know? I mean, if John Hughes and Chris Columbus could pull it off, why can't these other filmmakers pull it off? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Um, and I would love to see Home Alone series revived, and finally get a good sequel. I'd almost say reboot the franchise with a remake and just they'd be better off just kind of redoing the first movie. I mean, I mean the series is that much in the gutter by this point. So, um, and I do like Elf. I don't like Elf as much as I used to. I think because I watched it so much growing up. Um, and Black Christmas is a Christmas movie that I love. And let's see. Yes, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Uh, I like the animated classics as well, like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Um, so I do like those classics as well. Um, and yeah, a lot. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a Thanksgiving holiday film, but I do love that movie as well. Um, so yes, Home Alone 3 is very underrated. I used to give it a lot of crap growing up, but after watching the fourth movie and the fifth one, and now this new one, Home Alone 3 is a masterpiece compared to those bad sequels after that came after it. I mean, of course, it's nothing like the first 2 films, but, they're way better because at least Home Alone 3 had a plot. It had a story at least. Um, uh, okay. Um, Spirit is here, ha, ha, ha. At least they got them made because making movies, as we talked about, is not easy. Eric, are you talking about the Home Alone films? Uh, you have to rely on other people, and people are not always to be reliable. Or Eric, are you talking about your own films? Uh, my go-to Christmas movies are Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation, Gremlins, and more recent films, Krampus and Better Watch Out. Okay, that's a good list. Um, uh, yes. Okay. Um, thanks for clarifying. Making movies in general. Okay. Uh, Are you excited for Spider-Man: No Way Home? Do you think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in it? Yes, I do. I don't know how anybody doesn't think that they're not in the movie. I mean, it's so obvious. I mean, I mean, you wouldn't have that in the trailer. You're not Peter Parker, you know. If they weren't good, and then you wouldn't even have like Jamie Foxx's Electro in it. And like the lizard's gonna be in it. Like all of Andrew Garfield's villains, Tobey Maguire's villains. You have like the Green Goblin in that. Um, I'd almost say finally some real villains in the Tom Holland Spider-Man films. I was not impressed with his villains so far. Even though Michael Keaton is a great actor, it's really hard to make even Michael Keaton boring. Uh, I'm just not a big fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man films. I was a big fan of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man films and Andrew Garfield movies. I enjoyed those films. I I loved Captain America's Civil War that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was in. I thought he was great in that. I enjoyed him in Infinity War, Endgame. I just don't like his standalone movies. They just don't. I don't know. There's not like enough there at stake as like the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films. It just had better supporting characters and just better narratives. And like aside from like Spider-Man 3, we're gonna disclude Spider-Man 3. I can't even believe that they're gonna have the Sandman. I was really hoping any Spider-Man 3 villain was not gonna be in this movie. It's just like it's that, "Oh, it stings," feeling seeing any of those Spider-Man 3 villains, but, I do believe Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will be in the new film. I 100% believe it. I know it. Like, at the very end of the trailer, the new one, when Doctor Strange is like, "I can't stop it, I got da, da, da," that's probably when Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man are gonna come into the movie. So now we know they're gonna be halfway through the film. So, like, half of the movie is going to be about Peter and him being exposed, of not of being Spider-Man, and, the consequences of the world knowing that he's Spider-Man, and then, probably going into his, re the whole dynamic with him and Doctor Strange, and that he wants Doctor Strange to like change everything. So they're going to go into the whole multiverse thing. They have to set that up, and then Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man fighting the villains that you see in the trailer. That's definitely gonna be, like, the first half, probably the first, like, hour and a half, like, a good hour and a half of that, and there's probably gonna be, like, 1 more hour of the movie or, like, close to it of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. So I think they're gonna have, like, a good, like, Harrison Ford 40 minutes, of footage, because like, Harrison Ford was only he was in The Force Awakens for 40 minutes, so it's probably gonna be, like, a 40-minute, amount of screen time for, like, both Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire because it's still obviously it's Tom Holland's Spider-Man series. So I don't see them coming into the story till like a little bit later on, but I definitely see it. And if so, this is going to be really exciting. And this is just like my childhood nostalgia, just like you know, back like in my face, and it's just like what? But very excited. Um, I got Disney Plus because of Marvel. My thing is Marvel is going to be on other streaming service. Uh, uh, Wait, sorry. I got Disney Plus because of Marvel. My thing is Marvel is going to be on other streaming service. Okay. Um, I have been watching Disney Plus. I'm excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I'm excited for the Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka. Sorry, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Um, the all those shows that are coming out on Disney Plus. I don't know. I did like WandaVision show, but I'm kind of marveled out a bit. Um, I felt like Marvel has done what they wanted to do, and I felt like Endgame was a really good high note for the MCU, and uh, in a way, I kind of didn't want to see these characters, these stories continue because Endgame ended on such a on such a good, high note. Um, it's just kind of like seeing it continue. Any of these characters is just kind of like, I could have done without it. But the Black Widow movie, that was necessary. That Black Widow film should have. Well, I get why they waited for that to be the last like Marvel movie for a long time. I mean, the MCU, because of what happens in Endgame. It would have given everything away had the Black Widow movie come out before Endgame. But, unless it was something like that, like Black Widow or going into Scarlet Witch more, I don't know. Uh, I hope they do more with their aside. I don't like Captain Marvel, but aside from Captain Marvel, I hope they do more with their female leads, in MCU. But I think it's cool Loki, it got his own show, and, it is just cool to see, these stories continue. It's all about if it's done right, and it's just wowing to see Marvel, get so much right compared to so many studios that have tried to do something like this before and they got it wrong, and Marvel gets it right. And it's just kind of like, how do they get it right? But I'm really excited for DC's outline. I love Justice League, the Schneider cut that came out this year. I got the Blu-ray. I've watched that movie probably like 100 times. It hasn't even been a full year since the movie's been out yet. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Aquaman film, the Flash movie. Michael Keaton's getting his own standalone Batman film. We're getting what Black Adam, another Shazam. Um, uh, then Matt Reeves, the Batman, Robert Pattinson. Um, I mean, and then Wonder Woman 3. Like so we're getting a lot of DC content, a lot of new stuff from DC as well that I feel like, DC they after the Snyder cut, they deserve their chance to shine after everything. And they're also doing a Joker too with Walking Phoenix, like that's really really exciting. So I see a really exciting future for DC. And I see that there's probably going to be another Justice League film because like how would they not make another Justice League movie, after the Snyder cut? Anyway, um oh the Sandman is my cousin, no joke. Thomas Hayden Church. Oh, okay. I kind of hope Toby and Andrew aren't in the film because it'll be great to just sit back and watch the internet explode. Yep. Um, I think that's why they're Blumhouse, learn from Marvel with this, please. Don't show the most crucial stuff in your trailer. Like if there's something so big that that people don't want to know until the movie, like just don't reveal it in the trailer. Like Marvel's doing it right. You know. Um, Oh, no. I think I read your comment wrong. You hope Toby and Andrew aren't in the film because 'cause it'll be great to just sit back and watch the internet explode. Oh, um, I would be really mad if they're not in the movie. I would be really mad, actually. Um, all the everybody will be really mad if they don't include them in Spider-Man: No Way Home because it would make no sense. How are you gonna open this whole multiverse and bring back Willem Dafoe and, all these, Jamie Foxx and, like, just to not bring back the original Spider-Mans? I just don't see it. It just, like, no. I mean, it would sorta be interesting, but at the same time, it'd feel like kind of a waste to bring back these villains and not bring back the original, heroes, especially that, like, Tobey Maguire isn't 60 years old yet. Andrew Garfield isn't 60 years old, so they can still play these characters. Um, and there's been so much stuff that's got leaked, online throughout the months with Andrew Garfield on set and stuff. I don't know if you guys saw that video, and Andrew Garfield debunked it. He tried so hard to debunk it in his interviews, but, come on. They're gonna be in the movie, and they're gonna be in the 3rd act, if anything. It'll be the 3rd act that, the 3rd act, um, for sure. Man of Steel, Uh, oh, what I'm saying is, do you think some other company will buy other streaming service sorry. What I'm saying is, do you think some other company will buy other streaming service? Marvel TV shows used to be on Netflix, now it's on Disney Plus. Do you think some other company will buy it? Anything's possible, but I don't know who can buy Disney. I feel like Disney is the most biggest studio um, out of all the studios. I would be that'd probably be one of the most shocking things I'd ever see in my life is if Disney was bought. Because who buys Disney? You know, Disney buys things. No, nothing buys Disney. So if that ever happened, that would be really, really crazy, um, and really shocking. But you know, Man of Steel, in my opinion, is the best superhero film of the decade, and honestly, the best superhero film ever. I even like the score more than John Williams' iconic theme. Well, if you say best superhero film of the decade, that you would mean the 2010s, not the 2020s. So you're saying Man of Steel is the best superhero film of the 2010s. Because then I don't think that that would go for 2020s. Because now we're in a new decade. Um, but I I'm not really a big Man of Steel fan, to be honest. I'm a Zack Snyder fan, and I love the Snyder cut, and I remember like I watched Watchmen so many times. I didn't see the movie in the theater, but I remember renting it when it first came out, and like he's a really good filmmaker. But Man of Steel was bad. I'm not to disrespect your opinion or anything like that, Zach. I agree, I strongly agree to disagree because like Man of Steel is up there for me as one of the worst superhero films. Yes, thank you. The humor was so forced. The editing was all over the place. Yep, the dad waving with the tornado behind him, and like I haven't watched that movie since it came out because it was so bad. It was so bad. I just, like, jumped to Dawn of Justice, and I'm like, "You know what? People are talking this and that about Dawn of Justice, but it was certainly better than Man of Steel, though. It was way better than Man of Steel." And I actually got invested in Dawn of Justice, even though wasn't the perfect movie by any means, and I have problems with that film, but it was still enjoyable to a certain extent, especially the extended cut, the Ultimate Fan Edition. Um but definitely the best of Zack Snyder's work in the DC in terms of like, not Watchmen, of course. We're talking about Justice League characters. Would be Justice League, the Snyder cut. That's probably his best work. My opinion, his best movie since Watchmen. Um, it's a 4-hour epic, and it just, like, spits on his previous 2 movies, like, huge. Um, but Henry Cavill was perfectly cast as Superman, though, but it doesn't save the movie. Yes, Henry Cavill might be my favorite he's probably my favorite Superman. Aside from Christopher Reeve, he's probably tied, with Christopher Reeve, 'cause Christopher Reeve, he was great, and it's also nostalgia. But yeah, Henry Cavill, like when I'm watching him, I feel like I'm watching Superman. I don't feel like I'm watching an actor play Superman. I'm watching Superman, and that's a lot of respect to Henry Cavill and his work with the character. I mean, it's not easy to pull that off to play Superman, and you believe him, and yeah, I don't think these new movies would work without Henry Cavill. I don't think they could have gotten a better actor, honestly, to play Superman. Um, Amazon or Apple could buy Disney. I mean, before Steve Jobs died, he was the biggest shareholder of Disney, so he could have forced them to sell to Apple. Haha. Hey, like, it could be. We'll see. I mean, yeah, Apple. Yeah, Apple. You're right, Apple. Could probably could buy Disney. Um, or Amazon. Yeah. Yep. Because now Amazon, I mean, now Amazon's been making their own movies and Amazon Prime, so yeah, I never thought of that. Um, it needed a better script, different director, different guy editing it. Are you talking about Man of Steel, Eric? Uh, about the is that because I agree about Man of Steel. Yes, it needed a way better script, different director. Yep, and that was Zack Schneider. He's great, but I don't think he was cut out for doing a standalone Superman film. I think he knows how to put Superman in, like, crossover movies, clearly, with Justice League and Dawn of Justice. But in terms of his own solo film, I wish they would have used a different director, and a director that wouldn't have been as harsh on the tone, uh, because Superman doesn't need to be that dark. That's the whole point of Batman. Batman movies are supposed to be dark. Superman movies are supposed to be, like, a little more lighthearted, a little more fun. And I think that's where Zack Schneider went wrong, is that he wanted to make this dark, depressing Superman film, and I never asked for that as a fan, as a Superman fan. I never asked for a dark, depressing Superman film. Now, maybe if they did a new trilogy, right, and there would have been Man of Steel, Man of Steel 2, Man of Steel 3, the second movie would have worked as being a really dark movie because that would have been like The Empire Strikes Back. It would have been in between the first Man of Steel and the third Man of Steel. So that would have worked as, like, the second one being really dark. But the first movie, the first Man of Steel, that needed to be a lot more lighthearted, fun film. Yes, maybe you did need that one scene where Superman saves a cat from a tree, They could even have done it where the first 30 minutes is, like, super fun, super lighthearted, and then it gets darker and gets really serious, and, like, the tone gets, like, very, in your face, and you get, like, a really intense 3rd act. But, um, the film went wrong of being an entirely dark, depressive film. And yeah, that movie still stays with me to this day of how bad it was, but, um Zack Snyder redeemed himself though with the Snyder cut for sure. So I can let it pass now, thanks to Justice League. Um, hey Jeremy, Jeremy Cadell, how you doing? Jeremy, he's one of my best friends. So everyone give a wave to him. Thanks for joining the live chat, the live stream. Um, I feel bad for Zach though with his daughter. Yeah, that's really sad. Like really sad. Like, I cried at the end of Justice League, the Snyder cut, when it said for Autumn. That made me cry really bad because I didn't really cry to that movie the first time I watched it, but that one little part where it said for Autumn, I just started bawling my eyes out. And it just hit me randomly. I wasn't even expecting that. But, I'm sure we've all had that experience before with a movie where, something, a moment made us cry that we weren't expecting. It just came out of nowhere, like, "Oh, wow," and it just hits you. It was definitely one of those moments, so I feel really bad for Zach. In fact, he has there's a little Easter egg, not Easter egg, it's like a little, um, how to explain it, but it's a shot of, like, a billboard, and it's that scene when Bruce Wayne he goes to find Barry Allen, and he's like, "I'll tell you when we're on the plane where you're going and this and that." Um, and Bruce Wayne says, "I'm rich," and they have all the shots of it with the car and stuff. When the car drives away, there's a billboard that says suicide prevention, and that was, because of what happened with his daughter. So that was really powerful that he was, like, putting suicide prevention awareness in the movie, The fact that he put it somewhere, that was really powerful too. So you could tell that he really completed that movie out of the love for his daughter, like, it's just so deep and powerful, but you can tell the movie was made with heart. It wasn't for money, it was made with heart, and I think that's why the film turned out to be such a beautiful film, such an incredible movie because it wasn't didn't feel like the filmmaker was doing this out of cash. It was out of heart, and he did the movie for free, in terms of the post-production, the whole re-editing the whole film, and changing things, and basically going back to his version. He didn't request any money to complete it. He did it all for free, and I think that's in a way that's why it turned out that great because for I think what we've learned is for a film to turn out to be so incredible is it has to come from the filmmaker's heart like so much. They have to love it that much, and I see that with certain movies. Like the filmmaker had such a passion for the story or something that happened, and like they consistently brought it. um yeah, it's an incredible movie and an amazing tribute to his daughter because that's just so powerful. um Something tells me some other company will buy Disney, not now, but soon. We'll see. Uh, I've lost friends from suicide, so I know his pain. Yep, I've lost people from suicide too. Yeah, it's hard. Um, it caused me to become an alcoholic. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric, about that. Well, I hope it gets better for you. Amazon or Apple could buy Disney. Yep, yep. Amazon or Apple could buy Disney for sure. Um, but that would, you know what? It might even take Amazon and Apple to buy Disney. It's probably going to take both of them to buy Disney because that's buying Disney. Disney owns like everything. You know, I've been clean from alcohol for 5 years. The day after Christmas. Oh, okay. Well, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I want Disney to buy me. Jeremy. I want Disney to buy me, LOL. That's a good one. Yeah, if Disney buys you, then boom, you're in the game, making that money. You got the house, right? And then all the opportunities. That's why you never commit suicide, it damages other people's lives. Yep. Very true. Very true. Yep. Can have a very deep impact on people. It can, yeah, can damage people's lives very badly. So, yeah, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Amazon or Apple buys Disney, just saying. Yep. Disney isn't worth as much as you think, only about 100 billion, whereas both Apple and Amazon are trillion-dollar companies. Okay, well then, you know what? Then it could happen. My web series project is too dark for Disney, LOL. It's also too dark for YouTube. Your web series is too dark for YouTube? How is it too dark for YouTube? Because isn't there like the age restriction thing, right? That's what I do with my films. I put age restrict on any of my films that I would think would get an R rating. Let's just say, like, if it was an actual film, because like the YouTube isn't the MPA by any means, but they sort of are. They sort of are when it comes to, you know, um, you know, movies like mine. Like I have to make them age restricted, because the content is too adult, like in terms of like gore or language. Um, the Twilight Short is the only short film of any of my short films on my channel that is not age restricted because the Twilight Short is PG-13 level content, and that's why I didn't have to age restrict it. So as long as my content is like PG-13 level, then I don't have to age restrict it. But uh, um, Most of my movies, I have to. Um, but, that's just how it is now. I mean, one of my films, The Devil's Servant, that's age restricted, and that was an original film as well, and that has almost 1,000 views, and it's got, like, almost 30 likes, and that's not even, a movie that is copied from anything or anything. It's its own original thing. So, um, you can still find success in age restricted content. It's a lot more difficult, but um, yeah. Uh, yes, age restriction will help. However, I'm afraid some of the gore shots might be crossing the line. Well, if it's age restricted, then it's not crossing the line. I don't. Gore doesn't really bother uh, YouTube unless it's like real. If it's fake, then I don't see where they would have a problem, especially if you age restrict it. Jeremy, didn't you talk to Emma from Scream TV show? Yep. Yes, he did. I did talk to her. Interview could never be posted. Her management asked me not to post it. I followed. So, sexual content definitely does with YouTube. Yeah, yep. You kind of have to be really careful with sexual content in your films when it comes to putting something on YouTube. They can you can only go so far, um, but um, yeah, as long as it's age restricted, you probably there's some limitations that any writer director would have of how much they can show, um, just like any movie, but. Yeah, I'd say go as far as you can go with your content, and if YouTube has a problem with something, they'll let you know and then just cut that out of the movie, I guess. And, you know, the shots that you think that the movie would get like a censorship or whatever, or it would get censored, um, shoot those parts differently in case you run into that. So then you can replace that shot with something else that's not as brutal. You know, always have a backup. You know, um, uh, how do you feel about YouTube taking away the dislikes from public view? I think it's BS. Yeah. I agree. I don't think it's I mean, they already took away the 5-star rating system, which was the coolest thing ever, and then they got rid of it, and then they introduced like, dislike, and then they were talking about creating it was originally it was gonna be a love button, like button, dislike button. So the love button would have been like, hearting the video like it's your favorite, kinda like button. Uh like you more than like it, kind of thing. And then there would be the like button and then the dislike. Then it just stayed to like dislike. The love button didn't even wasn't even introduced. Um, and now they want to take away dislikes. So you at least you at least you can go to the analytics or something and you'll be informed how many dislikes you're getting, even though people won't be able to see it. It does take away a lot of what makes YouTube YouTube is to show how much people like and don't like something, it helps YouTube creators and know what to do, what not to do, what to avoid. Just reading comments and seeing I, yeah, I'm so against removing dislikes. What I would love for them to do is to get rid of likes and dislikes and bring back the 5-star rating system. That would be the best thing that could, happen for YouTube after the likes and dislikes. Um, how did you talk to her, Jeremy? No nudity, just kissing. Had so many rapid uh, tests done. Web series cost me more money than I thought. I legit spent a good chunk of savings. I got to talk to her through a mutual friend who hooked me up with the interview. I was very appreciative for the opportunity. Ryan should have Emma in one of her One of her fan films, you should ask her, Jeremy. That'll never happen, even though that would be cool. That will never happen. I agree. Bring back the 5-star rating system. Yes, that'd be huge. Yep. There's no point to the like and dislike ratio now without the dislikes. Exactly. Like the whole, at least with the 5-star, if it could at least be like 3rd star rated. If that many people didn't like it or liked it, it would be like in that like in between. So it's just like fair, that kind of rating, 0 to 5, because yeah, I just thought it was brilliant. When I first joined YouTube, I thought it was the coolest feature was the 5-star rating system. That was absolutely incredible. It blew my mind. And once they got rid of it, I was really sad because they got rid of it way too soon. Um, the 5-star system would add more nuance to the ratings. Yeah. I have a series called Things That Piss Me Off, and I should make an episode about YouTube taking away the dislike button. Hey, that sounds interesting. Go for it. If I still had contact info, I'd pay her to come work on his films and mine. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. You're cool. However, it would cost so much money to hire. Yes, I mean, Willa Fitzgerald, she probably would cost a lot, you know, a lot. So, um, yeah, it's a comedy series. Oh, cool. Okay. I'm terrible at comedy, so I make people laugh without trying to, but I don't I would love to make a comedy film one day, but that's when I feel like I can actually write something funny and direct something funny and have that like motivation to do it. Um, and yeah, um, series got so popular, the biggest radio station in my area played the first episode. Oh wow! Well, good for you. That's really cool. Wow. So I've been on this live stream for about over 2 hours. So, all right, I'll keep the live stream going for probably about 10 more minutes, and then I'll get off here, because then it's been a good 2 hours. But this is fun, guys. This is fun. I'm having a great time. Um, uh, I don't think Will Fitzgerald would cost too much, but definitely more than 12 grand, which is what I spent on my web series. I can't believe I'm admitting that. Uh, yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, you don't have to talk about, like, what you don't wanna talk about, um, on the yeah. I don't know if that was our if that's people's business to know that about, your budget and stuff. Anyway, uh, Zach says, "I would love to make a sitcom type comedy series that slowly morphs." Okay, that sounds cool. Twisted Chris said, "What do you think, she doing now since, Scream Show over with I thought Noah was one of my favorite characters." Uh, yep, Noah definitely was one of the best characters on that show. And if they do come back with the show, I hope he's revealed to be the killer or one of the killers, and that he's been in on it since the very beginning with Piper. From the first season. I would love that kind of twist because I think John Carno would do a really good acting job, and to see like the Randy character, be Ghostface would be something new and fresh for the franchise. That the movie, person, the movie guy that knows all the trivia, would be the. I mean, it would make the most sense too because Noah is always there when something happens in the show, so it actually would make a lot of sense. And I think it would add some, yeah, it would add more to the show for sure. Um, and it's hard to believe that Kieran did everything in season 2 as well. So it would make sense that Noah and Kieran were working together. Um, but at the same time, uh, I maybe Kieran didn't know that Noah was one of the ghost faces because in the Halloween special, he says, "Okay, you kept your word, so you got to tell me who you are." So Kieran didn't even know who his partner was. So they're probably throwing everybody off that it's Brandon James returning. But I think it's Noah. um, and that would be like the best way to go with it. But maybe Noah is like one character out of like all the other characters are trying to bring Brandon James back, but I feel like that's all just to you know throw you off. But I do want them to go more into the Brandon James storyline because they went into it more in the first season than the second season. Um, Spoke with John Carna, who played Noah at a horror convention, was not allowed to record a video interview with him due to his management blocking the request. Wow. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty wild that the actors on the Scream show, they're never interviewed, they deny interviews, like, you gotta wonder that. But obviously, whatever went on behind the scenes with that show had to have been that bad. It had to have been that bad, for to not talk about it, they can't talk about it, like, it's gotta be that bad, so, maybe it's best we don't know, Maybe it's best we don't know. It's better to know the unknown than the known sometimes, what goes on behind this stuff. Um, let's see. Into something darker. Oh, okay. So you want to do something that's funny and then turn it into something darker, Zach, is what you're saying. The comedy series that you're doing. Slowly morphs into something darker. Okay. That's really cool. Yeah, I would totally watch that. Um, there was a scanner on Facebook who asked for a picture of me, so I trolled them back by getting a picture of a piece of uh, on Google, sent it to them, and said, "I still look the same." Okay. Willa Fitzgerald did reveal to me that the cast had to sign NDAs after they were all let go from their contracts. It was funny. Uh, didn't each season have different showrunners or something crazy like that? Yes, they had different showrunners every single season of the Scream show. Noah reminded me of Randy from Scream 2, Scammer. What do you mean, Eric? Scammer? By, like, what you're talking about? S Not scanner, scammer. Oh, okay, okay. LMFAO. It's so cool, Mario Mania, that you're the moderator. It's just so cool I made you of course, I'd make you the moderator. How would I not? It's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would've ended this live stream, like, probably, like, an hour ago if you guys didn't join. So, thank you guys for all joining my live stream. This is, like I had a lot of fun tonight, and, it's great to talk to you guys, really is. Um, so I've been doing these live streams more than just doing random videos lately, because, I don't know, I feel like it's cooler to be able to talk to you guys since my videos are just talking about things in general, but I will make, you know, separate videos for my channel, though. I will make videos and reaction videos, and, of course, I will continue to do that, but, since I haven't done live streams for a long time, I wanted to, uh make up for them, not doing them for a long time. So I think I've done about 4 of them so far in the last month and a half or something. Um, it's unfortunate that the cast hasn't done any interviews. Yeah, it really is because it was a really great show. So um, packed house tonight. Yeah, yeah. I have a packed house. This is cool. Can you do another hour? No, I'll do the live stream up until 9, and that's of course 9 o'clock is the East Coast, and then it'd be 8 o'clock if you're in the Midwest. Um, so about 8 p.m. I'm gonna wrap up this live stream, or 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., whatever time zone you're in. Um, so a good 10 more minutes around there, and then I'll end the live stream. Uh, but now that I have like 6 people in here, I can talk. I guess I can talk more about the Chucky series, the Chucky show, the new season, the season finale from last night. If you guys watched it, feel free to talk about it because I haven't really talked about it much on my channel. I mean, I've done reaction videos to the show, but that finale was awesome, and I'm still like processing it. And I'm definitely going to rewatch the show after sitting through weeks of just watching this episode, and see what I missed. And wow, like the Chucky TV series, like that's up there with the first two films. Like, almost want to say that's better than the movies themselves. Um, but it's that great of a show. I was not expecting it to be that great. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know if it was going to be great. And I was very surprised by how it turned out. And now it's renewed for season two. We're getting a season two, Chucky two. Like, I'm really excited. I want to know what you guys thought. Um, You looking forward to Matrix 4? I really wasn't until I watched an interview with Lana uh, Wachowski on why she decided to do it after years of turning Warner Brothers down, and renewed my faith. Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch The Matrix 4. I think because the series hasn't been around for like 20 years, um, and um, I think and the fact that they're bringing back, original cast members and stuff, original characters, I'm definitely gonna check it out. If The Matrix 4, let's just say, would have came out probably 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been as interested, but because the series has been in limbo for so long, um, I think I'll definitely check it out. It's gonna make a lot of money, The Matrix 4, that's gonna make a lot of money. So, and that actually might turn out to be like the highest grossing film of the year. It might surprise people, but it's The Matrix. If it ends up being a good movie, The Matrix 4. You know, um, did you see the Child's Play remake? I'd rather not talk about the Child's Play remake, to be honest. Oh God, Mark Hamill stole the show. Yeah, he was the only good part of that movie. I love the Chucky series. I watched weekly. So then what'd you think of, the episode from last night, Jeremy? I think No Way Home will be the highest grossing film of the year. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Spider-Man, I know, I can't see any other movie this year that would make, like, to 2 b I do see No Way Home making 2 billion. I do see 2 billion for No Way Home. The Matrix, though, I think The Matrix 4 could be up there, though. I think it will reach 1 billion at least. It will make a lot, because the franchise hasn't been around in a long time. So, I think that's why it would make a lot. And also, we have to remember people are returning back to the movie theater still. Like, the theaters were shut down for a long time. So, that's probably why Halloween Kills probably didn't make up to 200 grand, like, sorry, 200 million, like, Halloween 2018 did. But Halloween Ends, I think, will make more than Halloween Kills, and that's because it won't be on a streaming service at the same time. Um, but Chucky was great. As for the 2019 reboot, I loved Audrey Plaza. Yeah. Okay. 2020 was one of the worst years of my life. Yeah, I agree. But to be honest, it sounds absolutely insane, but probably this year was slightly worse than last year. Like this year, it got better um, by some point, like in the summer, like around August, I think, is when the year got better. But it took until August, and um, I do have some good memories of 2020 before the pandemic. Some really good memories, and I actually was the happiest in my life right before quarantine. Um, so uh, I think about how happy I was before that, and how long it took for being in quarantine that long to have an impact on me, like it has. So I would say 2020 was slightly better, even though that we could mark that as the worst year of all time, at least so far that I've lived. But I don't know. I mean, see how the rest of December goes, and but because the year isn't over yet. But I think I did enjoy 2020 more though, despite everything that was going on. Um, yeah. I know, isn't that crazy? I find 2021 worse than 2020. Um, I really liked the show. I was a bit worried that they'd pull a Force Awakens when they reintroduced the old characters, because that movie becomes a complete slog once Han and Chewie show up. But I'm glad it didn't go that way, and that finale. Whoa! I think Miss Fairchild could be Glenda. Okay, so you really like the show. I was a bit worried they pull for yeah, Force Awakens when they introduced the old characters. Well, I wasn't really worried about that because like there we've had a recent Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. It's not like the series hasn't been around, in forever. I mean, the last movie was 2016, so it wasn't forever ago. Um, so I wasn't really worried about that. To me, the TV show was just continuing Cult of Chucky, and bringing the series into a turning the series into a TV show, from movie to TV. Uh, I was just more just concerned: is it going to be good? Is it going to be good characters? Aside from the original characters. Um, the movie becomes a complete slog once Han and Chewie show up. Actually, I enjoyed a lot of The Force Awakens when Han and Chewie show up. To me, that's when the movie really gets going, because you have like you have this first random 30 minutes of the film, random 40 minutes where these Rey's introduced, Finn, and it's kind of like okay, and Kylo, they're all introduced in the plot, which was very important. Um, but uh, to me, like the story didn't really get going until Han and Chewie showed up, because that's when they go into the dynamic, like the father son storyline with Han and Ben, and they go into Leia. Leia shows up, at that point with Han and Chewie, and you see then we get C-3PO, we get R2D2, uh, and it becomes more of a Star Wars film. Even though it is interesting that like the first act is about these new characters. I think that was cool. Um, but I feel like the Last Jedi needed more of that. It needed more of like solo stories like that. Um, uh, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I gotta keep talking about Star Wars. Um, let's see. Cult of Chucky was 2017. I'm sorry, you're right. It was 20. Oh, God. So it was a little while ago. Yeah, it was 2017, not 2016. You're right. Yep, it was 2017. So yeah, so really it was only 4 years ago, which is why that remake made no sense, because it was only 2 years after Cult of Chucky. Um, the dad of Caroline and Lexi the dad of Caroline and Lexi in the TV series is the same actor who played the creepy asylum doctor in Cult of Chucky. Yep, 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 yep. That was cool. Um, uh, Force Awakens was the best of the new trilogy, in my opinion. It was not original, but at least it was entertaining. I think I'm gonna be the only person forever that finds the Rise of Skywalker the best out of all the 3 in the sequel trilogy, and, uh, and that I actually find it to be one of the best Star Wars films, one of the strongest, entries. But, if you're in prequel hype, you're not gonna and, I grew up with the prequels. I did. I grew up with the Star Wars prequels, and I dressed up as Anakin and Obi-Wan and went to all the opening weekends and all that. So I remember all that, like, that was my childhood. But growing up and rewatching those films, they didn't have the same impact. There were things in the prequels that I do like. Um, so they kinda are like love-hate movies, the prequels, because there are the music I love the music in the prequels, and I love the choreography and action in those films, and Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan, so it's like I can't say I hate the prequels. So I say I love and hate them because they are love-hate movies. Um, but the sequel trilogy, I skipped The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is, like, non-canon to me. That movie doesn't even exist. So if I watch the sequel trilogy, I watch The Force Awakens and then The Rise of Skywalker. And, it's a lot more fun to watch those 2 back to back than to watch it with The Last Jedi, because The Last Jedi just it does not fit, with, The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker. Um, so, yeah, my favorite Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back, and, pretty much the original trilogy. But, anyway, um Last Jedi was boring and wasted potential, and Rise of Skywalker was bland, and bringing back Palpatine was pointless and ruins Vader's character arc from Episode 6. Uh, yeah, Last Jedi was more wasn't boring, it was horrible. Um, Rise of Skywalker, yeah, even though it did bring back Palpatine and stuff, I honestly was okay with that over what they did with The Last Jedi. I mean, at least Rise of Skywalker goes into the villain and fleshes out the villain. With Snoke, he's just in the movie and then he gets killed off, and then that's it. Like Snoke didn't had no character development, and it was such a wasted character because they could have done something with Snoke, but you know, R- uh, Ruin Johnson had to ruin it, and uh, yeah. So, like, I don't care how great of a filmmaker Ryan Johnson is. I really don't. That he's done Knives Out and Looper and whatever. Like, I have no respect for him as a filmmaker after The Last Jedi. Like, after The Last Jedi, I was like, I hope he never ever gets a job in Hollywood again. And now he got nominated for Best Director back in 2020 for Knives Out. That was disappointing, you know. And you know what? It's Ryan Johnson. Like, how did he not make a better Star Wars film? My question. If he's so talented, and he got the final cut of that movie too, which no filmmaker ever gets the final cut to a movie anymore. Anyway, um, what were your reasons for not liking the Child's Play remake? It's mainly because they messed with the source material. That they didn't go into the voodoo element like they do with the show and the movies. That it wasn't Brad Dourif doing the voice of Chucky. um, that it wasn't, like, set, like, in the '80s and, like, like the original movie, um, and I don't know, that it was all AI and this whole robotic, computer stuff. Like, the whole storyline for the Child's Play reboot could have been for a new doll and a new horror film, like, let's just say a new Annabelle, but it's AI doll, they could have just called it AI. You know? They could've, and it could have been a different doll, not Chucky, and it could have been, like, the same thing, so people would have just it would have just said as it would have been a Child's Play ripoff, but done different, but it would have probably gotten better responses and better praise because it would have been original film, and people are drawn to killer doll movies and stuff. That's why Annabelle's successful, it's why Chucky is successful, but, I wish they would have done that. MGM just would have done an original, killer doll movie, like, "Hey, we did Child's Play. that's still labeled the best of the franchise. Let's do a new Killer Doll movie and make, for the 21st century. So that way MGM did a their own Killer Doll movie for the 20th century, and then this remake could have just been original film, and it would have been, the 21st century Killer Doll movie. I mean, they should have just done that, and to me, it was just a waste of time. And look, it didn't do well at the box office because nobody wanted it. Um, the remake probably only happened so uh, is it Orion or Orion slash MGM could hold on to the rights to the original film. Probably, yep. To each their own. Yeah. I loved Devon Sawa in the Chucky series. His performance is great. Amazon technically now owns the original rights to Child's Play after buying MGM. Yep, yep. And now I'm hearing that they want to do a sequel to the first one, which is like, why? Why? I don't want a sequel to that remake. No. The remake is the only Chucky movie I've seen in theaters. Yeah. I didn't see it. I didn't go to the theater to see it. There was no way. Chucky's look was off in the remake. His chin looks goofy. Yeah, Curse of Chucky, it would have been better off if Curse of Chucky would have got a theatrical theater release. I was really hoping that Curse of Chucky would have gotten that, like back in 2013 when that came out. I was so excited to see that on the big screen, and the fact that it was like straight to video, it was like, oh man. But it was good though. So, I got past it because it was a great entry in the franchise. Um, so as long as it's good, then anything's possible. But that remake, that's one of the is one of the worst remakes for sure. But everyone has their opinion. Uh, but not as bad as the original design for the Sonic movie. Actually, the Sonic movie, I don't know. I didn't hate the Sonic film. I kind of went into it expecting it to really not be that good, but um, I grew up with Sonic. I remember growing up. Um, and it was really cool to I don't know, to go see a movie like that. And it was that was the last movie, one of the last movies I saw before the quarantine, before all of us had to quarantine and all that. So it was like one of the last like good memories at the movies, kind of thing. So maybe that's why I look at it a little differently. But yeah, I thought the Sonic movie wasn't too bad. Um, Best thing about Amazon doing the sequel is that it will be on Prime, so it will be free to Prime members. Oh, well, I'm not subscribed to Amazon Prime. Please stay on a little bit more. I'll be sad. Twisted Chris, hey, this has been a 2.5 hour live stream, so I'll keep it going. Literally 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to end this live stream, guys. Okay. Um, The original design for Sonic was so bad, I can see Jigsaw from the Saw movies using it as a torture device on his victims. I grew up with Sonic. That's my childhood icon. Wait, so the original design for Sonic was so bad, I can see Jigsaw from the Saw movies using it as a torture device on his victim. Okay. Oh, good night, Jeremy. Yeah, thank you all for joining this live stream and talking about just like all these movies and shows. Um I don't know if you guys have played the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, the definitive edition. That everybody's been complaining about, talking bad about, all the bugs and stuff. I don't know if anyone has played it, but oh wow. Oh man. Um, yeah, any video games you guys are looking forward to? If you guys like video games, any video games that what I'm gonna get is that Resident Evil that's on the Oculus on the VR. I'm gonna get that because that sounds a lot of fun. Yeah, do you guys have an Oculus? Do you guys play Oculus games? Do you guys watch movies on Oculus? You know, um, just curious questions. Minecraft 1.18 caves and cliffs just came out. I spent the past few days exploring huge cave systems. Yeah, I'm not a Minecraft player. Just to let you know. I remember I had friends that played Minecraft and I just could never get into it. And then like I guess I wasn't too close with them as friends because they'd want to play Minecraft and I wasn't about Minecraft. I never understood why people loved it so much. So, yeah. But yeah. I heard they're making a Tetris movie. Oh, okay. So let's see. All right, so 2 hours and 35. I think this is a good stopping point. If you guys have anything else you want to say in the on the live stream, on the live chat, if you guys want to, guys have any other questions or you want to talk about anything else, let me know now. Unless I will get off the live stream now. Um, so just let me know. I'll keep the live stream going a little bit longer if you guys have any more questions or want to discuss any other series or anything like that. Yes, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad you got all tuned in. I really appreciate it. Good night, Ryan. This was fun. Thanks for modding me. Yeah, no problem. Next time I live stream, you will be the moderator for sure. You were now you were now my moderator of my YouTube channel with the live streams. If that's cool. Um, are you more of a dog person or cat person? I love both because I've had a dog and a cat growing up, so I have a love for both. Um, Cats are easier, but dogs like want more attention and they'll give you more attention, and they're just a lot more like they're more friendly. Um, Cats are very independent. So I do. There's things I love about both dogs and cats, and I just love dogs and cats and pets in general. But I haven't had a cat or a dog in ever. I mean, in a long time. Pets aren't really allowed where I live right now. So whenever I do live somewhere where pets are allowed, I will definitely get a cat or a dog. But I love both. I love cats and dogs. So my next stream, probably next week. Um, I'd say next Wednesday. Let's shoot for what next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So in that range, it'll be on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Definitely not a Friday. I've learned that Fridays are not a good time to live stream, and the weekends aren't a good time to live stream either. So um, definitely uh, Monday to Thursday or around there. I'll live stream again next week. What are your thoughts on people who still believe that the Earth is flat? Um, I have nothing to say about that. I'd rather not go there, honestly. Ugh. Will you please respond? Will you keep the live stream? Yes, Twisted Chris. I have said I will keep the live stream. I'm going to keep the live stream. I have said that 10 times. I'll be off in Halo Infinite Land next week. That's good. That's good. Yeah, Halo Infinite comes out. Yep, Halo Infinite. Wow. A new Halo game is coming out. That's crazy. That's just crazy. Wow. Yeah, I'm really excited when more new games, come out for next gen. It's definitely been a slow start, but like there's definitely a lot of games that we're getting this generation. I think a lot more than we got last generation. I just know it. We're gonna get a lot of big games and stuff. So would you be interested in seeing my movie? Sure. Um, just send me a link. My social media is on my YouTube. Go to my channel, and my Twitter link and my Facebook link is there, and also my email address as well. Um, it's a parody of Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame, where instead of Snap turning people into dust, it turns people into dinosaurs. Okay. I can't believe it's been 20 years already since the first Halo. I know. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know what, guys? Thank you for joining my live stream. I hope you guys can tune in again next week. I really appreciated this. I had a lot of fun. It was almost fully 3 hour live stream, and this was great. So you guys have a great Wednesday night. Have a great rest of your week, and post in the comment what you guys think would be a good day for next week for me to live stream. Like what's would be the best day? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have all those days. Like, um, how do I, like just so I know there's going to be a lot of people tuning in. Um, you misread my comment. Okay, I'll reread it. It's a parody of Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame, where instead of the snap turning people into dust, it turns people into deniers of dinosaurs. Okay, that's what I'm reading. There's people out there who deny the existence of dinosaurs, as absurd as that is. Oh, okay. Yeah, there are people that deny that dinosaurs exist. Yes, that's true. Um, yeah, just send me a link to your movie, in to my email or to my Twitter or to my Facebook. Um, thanks for the fun with the live stream. You have a good night. You too, Eric. All right, guys. Have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all next week. All right, peace.